in Australia at the moment, but I'm originally from the Philippines. So today, I'll be showing you how to properly set yourself up in your Chaturangas, also known as Vinyasa, or sometimes I call it yoga push-ups. It's pretty similar to push-ups, but a yoga kind of way. Yep. So now we're going to be using a block to guide us on how to properly lower down yourself on your yoga push-up or chaturangas. If you don't have blocks, feel free to use a pile of books that is similar weight, similar height as your forearms. Okay, so today I will be showing you two versions of chaturanga. There is the first one that I recommend for those of you who haven't done much chaturangas before, or if sometimes you're feeling a little bit weak, or not weak, but when you're feeling a little bit less energy in your practice, I suggest doing the knees down version. And then if you're really building up your core strength and your whole body strength, I suggest doing the second version with your knees lifted up. So I'll show you two of them. So let's begin. So finding your way back into your tabletop position. Okay, so on your tabletop position, I would suggest doing a few cat and cow stretches just to warm up your body and your muscles that support your spine. Inhaling through the nose, drop the belly down, draw the shoulders away from your ears, lift your sternum forward and out. As you exhale, press the tops of your 10 toes down, pressing the palms and your 10 fingers down, rounding through the spine, starting from the bottom, middle, and upper spine. Drop the head. Inhale, drop the belly down, draw the shoulders away from the ears, lift your sternum forward and up. And exhale, round through the spine, allow your head to become heavy. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. And finding yourself back into your stillness. Now, Chaturanga, it's a combination of plank, yoga push-up, upward dog, and downward dog. So let's do it. So the first version of the chaturangas, extend your toes back, extending the legs back, feet hip-width distance apart, finding your way into your plank pose. Glutes squeezing in, core switch on, lift your lower belly up, draw the shoulders away from your ears, but there's a slight rounding on your upper back here. The first option is to drop the knees. This is also known as four-limb staff pose. Hug your elbows in towards the midline, chest and chin lowers down towards the floor. As you inhale, lower down your hips, floating forward. Draw the shoulders back and away from your ears. Point the toes back. Press them firmly down to the floor, engaging through the legs, utilizing your back muscles to lift your sternum forward and up. Now, you can test this out by lifting your hands off of the floor and extending it back. Breathing in through the nose, utilizing your back muscles. This is your cobra or modified cobra with your hands off of the floor. Now, as you inhale again, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, curl the toes in, lift your hips, and followed by your knees up into your downward facing dog. I suggest walking the dog, pedaling the feet after the first few chaturangas or warm-ups. Releasing any tension on the back muscles. On your downward facing dog, allow your chest to become heavy towards the floor, drawing the shoulders away from your ears. You can gaze between the ankles or thighs, or you can just rest your gaze softly towards the floor. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no, releasing tension on your shoulders and your neck. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift your heels up, send your weight forward in line, shoulders in line with your wrist. Hug your elbows in, lower down the knees. Exhale, chest and chin lowers down to the floor. Inhale, float forward, Press the hips down, point the toes back, open through the chest, lift your sternum forward and up without using your hands. Exhale, curl the toes in, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Breathe through the nose and out through the nose. One more set. Inhale, send your weight forward, coming into your plank. Firm the legs, glute squeeze in, lift the lower belly, shoulder blades away from each other. As you exhale, hug your elbows in, lower down the knees, chest and chin lowers down to the floor. Inhale, float forward, press the tops of your 10 toes down. Open through the chest, utilizing your back muscles as you come up into your cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So that is the first one. The second one with the lifted knees, flowing from your downward facing dog, plank, chaturanga, either cobra or upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. Let's do it. Inhale, send your weight forward, coming into your plank. Again, engage through the legs, glute squeeze in, lift the lower belly up, shifting the weight a little bit more forward than your waist. Hug your elbows in and lower down. Float forward, point the toes back, open through the chest. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Now, we will be using the block this time. If you have to, please, I invite you to use 2 blocks. So placing it on the top end of your mat, bringing your hands just behind your blocks. Placing your blocks shoulder width distance apart. Now, coming into your plank. Again, legs engaged, glute squeezing in, core switch on, shoulder blades away from each other. Inhale, send your weight forward, hug your elbows in, and lower down. Almost to the level of your elbows or the block. Inhale, float forward, point the toes back, open through the chest, lift your sternum forward and up. Option to lift the thighs off of the floor as well. Breathe through the nose and out through the nose. Curl the toes in, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, plank. Exhale, hug your elbows in, lower down. Inhale, float forward, point the toes back, open through the chest. Sending your shoulder blades back and down, chest lifts forward and up, and option to lift the thighs off the floor. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. One final round. Inhale, lift the heels up. Send your weight forward, plank. Engage through the legs, glute squeezing in, core switch on, shoulders away from the ears. Hug your elbows in and exhale, lower down. Inhale, float forward, point the toes back, open through the chest, and option to lift the thighs off of the floor, up toward facing dog. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And gently find your way back into your child's pose. Knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Rest your forehead down to your mat and extend your arms forward, giving your wrists a little bit of rolls by creating figure 8 with your knuckles. And so that it is. That's it. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of practice to be able to do it with ease. For me, it's not even that easy at all. Chaturangas are quite strong practice because it's a whole body work. It's not just upper body. It actually involves a lot of all of your muscles actually. Because you need to engage your legs, your glutes squeezing in, your core switch on, your shoulders away from your ears. Takes a lot of work on your triceps and biceps as well. So it's all connected. And number one important thing about yoga, of course, is the breath. Always check in with your breath. It's the number one indicator of whether you're going too far or whether you're breathing, because sometimes when we're doing something quite challenging, we hold our breath. So always check in with your breath. So I hope you enjoyed this little short video, and I hope to see you again on my next video. If you have any suggestions, any questions, feel free to comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. Have a lovely day ahead. The light in me bows down to the light in you. Namaste. Oh, and drink lots of water. I always remind my students that, but you now are reminded to drink lots of water. Otherwise, I'll remind you again later. Have a lovely day.